All right, we are live. I am still sick, and let's get into Tesla Optimus. All right, what is this? Okay, very interesting. I'm not just dancing all day, okay? And they are showing this is at 1.5x, which is very interesting. But what they're showing is that by just natural language, it can start doing the work. Even the internal team must have wow moments every day. Impressive, but going to need to work on your stir if you wanted to. Yeah, the stir was weird. True Tesla Optimus. In this new Computex 2025 keynote, NVIDIA CEO makes an important argument for why humanoid robots are likely the only universal type of robot that will work. The reason for that is because technology needs scale. Most of the robotic systems we have had so far are too low volume, and those low volume systems will never achieve the technology scale to get the flywheel going far enough, fast enough, so that we are willing to dedicate enough technology into it to make it better. Low volume. I don't know if I understand that, but basically, I don't know exactly what is. I don't know. This doesn't make sense to me, but yeah, maybe my brain is just isn't just working. But basically, the world is built for humans, and if you can just make a human robot that can do everything, that would be perfect. Otherwise, you are filling filling the world with too much junk. Like if you are creating a bunch of vacuum cleaners, now you are mass producing vacuum cleaners, but they can only do one task. And then for every specific task, you have to build another robot. Instead, you just need one humanoid and it can just fit into the human world and do everything that a human does. All right, right here. That and the fact that the majority of the world is based around the human form. A humanoid robot can fit into almost any support role, but humanoid forms can. This unlocks a large volume required to generate enough gross profit potential to afford enough investment to make it great. Other robots' progress was so slow since the specialized markets were too small and thus not allowing for enough investment. Makes sense. Makes sense. If you're making specific use cases, uh, it's going to be expensive. It's low volume. It's going to be expensive, and because it's expensive, not many people are going to buy. So you cannot actually invest further in that into that machine. But humanoid, it is general form. Everybody will need it. You have to produce it at massive scale, so you have to drop the cost, and there's a lot of investment that will go in. Hey, we saw you from across the bar, and we really dig your vibe. What is the correct plural of Optimus? Optimi, Optimuses. Growing up fast. Tesla's new Optimus video is so unbelievable that people think it's fake CGI. People think this is real. It is. Lol, you keep believing that, but it does this every day in our Palo Alto lab, and multiple Optimus robots walk around the office 24/7 with no one watching over them, charging themselves as needed. It would be cool to actually hire a choreographer and be like, hey, can you choreograph a dance routine for this Optimus based on all its constraints so that it actually looks good and we can share that video. It seems many underestimating the pace of innovation that's going on behind the scenes. We're just getting warmed up. 12th May. More coming shortly. The team has been working very hard in the background, entirely trained in simulation with RL. Many optimizations and fixes have been put in place in our sim to real training core. The cable is there in case of a fall, not actually holding the bot, since this is an early result which will get more stable very quickly. Okay. Okay. The cable is there in case it falls. Hmm. Look at Optimus footwork. Sick moves. Me, robot. Wow. Wow. So many robots being built. Domo arigato, Mr. Robot. Domo arigato. Accurate actuators accelerate automation. It's really cool like how they have made the robots look so nice. Mini Me back in stock in Europe. Tesla bought Actifuer. What is that? Tesla bought Charger? Oh, in German. Okay. This is cool. This is cool. Wind up racer. Wish me luck. They grew up so fast. Merry Christmas from Optimus and his older brother, Optimus. Silent night, electric light. Daily walks help clear my mind. Daily walks help clear your mind. Alright, let's go to Grok now. What are the latest developments with Tesla Optimus? Le plus intelligent. As of May 26, 25. Alright, enhanced capabilities and autonomy. December 24 video. Uneven terrain and recovering from a slip without vision. Relying on neural networks and sensors for autonomous movement. This marked a shift from teleoperation to greater onboard AI processing. May 25. Performing tasks like loading battery cells into trays and navigating office spaces with improved walking and object manipulation. Tesla reported multiple Optimus units deployed in factories for daily testing. Dance demo. Train wire simulation to reality and reinforcement learning, indicating advancements in real-time control and motor skills. V-Robot. Interactive abilities like handing out snacks and responding to voice commands, though some tasks still rely on teleoperation. Production timeline. Limited production for Optimus for Tesla's internal use in 25 with thousands of units expected. Broader availability for other companies is targeted for 26, aiming for 50,000 to 100,000 units. Envision scaling to millions of units by 29 with potential demand for 10 to 20 billion units globally, positioning Optimus as a cornerstone of Tesla's business. Cornerstone of Tesla's business. 10 to 20 billion units globally. Design stands 5 inch, 8 feet, whoa, 5 feet 8 inch, 5'8" tall, weighs 125 pounds, walks at 5 miles per hour, and can carry 45 pounds. It uses Tesla's AI. Okay, this is very interesting. What was the reason they decided the height to be 5'8"? Hmm. Derived from its full self-driving technology with advanced sensors and neural networks for navigation and task execution. Gen 2 and beyond, the Generation 2 model introduced slimmer design, faster movements, and hands with 11 degrees of freedom. Recent demos suggest further refinements in dexterity and autonomy. Applications being tested for manufacturing tasks like moving materials and assembling parts, aiming to address labor shortages. Household potential envisions Optimus handling chores like grocery carrying or assisting the elderly with integration into Tesla's AI ecosystem for smart homes. Announced plans to send an Optimus robot to Mars in 26 aboard a SpaceX Starship. Public demonstration was a highlight, performing tasks and interacting with attendees, though critics noted reliance on teleoperation and lack of transparency about autonomy levels. Manhattan to generate public interest. Fully operational roaming Tesla's Palo Alto lab 24/7 unsupervised and self-charging. While these claims suggest significant progress, they lack independent verification and should be treated as inconclusive without official confirmation. Yeah, you should just release a video. That looks pretty cool. Teleoperation concerns, including at the V Robot event, relied on human assistance, raising questions about true autonomy. Competitors have showcased more autonomous robots, and Tesla's transparency on this issue has been criticized. Colberry and Alexander Kernbaum argue that Optimus's capabilities lag behind competitors like Boston Dynamics, Atlas, and that achieving general purpose functionality is a distant goal. Musk's timelines overly optimistic. Technical hurdles. Developing a versatile, affordable humanoid robot requires near artificial general intelligence, which remains a significant challenge. Current demos show progress but are often task specific or semi autonomous. The potential for job displacement, safety risk, and hacking vulnerabilities, compromised robots causing harm, have raised alarms. Must address these to build consumer trust. Question demand for general purpose robots versus specialized ones, and note that factory automation may require less complex solutions. Bank of America downgraded Tesla stock in January 25 due to execution risk. Pricing and availability. Estimates Optimus will cost $20,000 to $30,000, aiming for affordability compared to a car. No official release date is confirmed, but a 25 launch for internal use and 26 for commercial sales are targeted. Cites a 50% chance of Optimus being on sale before 27, reflecting market sentiment but not certainty. Some calling Optimus a glimpse of a sci-fi future. Vision of a robot revolution fuels optimism among Tesla fans. While Tesla's progress is notable, especially in leveraging its AI and hardware expertise, the gap to full autonomy and mass market viability remains. Ability to meet Musk's ambitious timelines, and overcome technical and ethical challenges will be critical. Aim to counter advancements by Chinese humanoid robot developers. Multiple Optimus robots now roam unsupervised, charging themselves as needed. Okay, really cool. Yeah, this is really cool. Like all around the factories, they're constantly using, they're slowly replacing things with Optimus robots. Elon Musk confirms Tesla Optimus robots are fully operational. It's not a prototype, not CGI. This is happening daily in Tesla's Palo Alto lab. They walk around in the office 24/7. No one watches them. They charge themselves. We expect to have thousands of Optimus robots working in Tesla factories by the end of this year. Production Optimus will look way more human like than the current model. This is still very far from our final form. Production Optimus. Wow. Oh. This is still very far from our final form. This is the bread Adcock update. OpenAI shelled out 6.5 billion for I/O. Google launched a ton of offerings. Flow for filmmaking, Google Beam, 3D communications platform, AI platform to create UI with text prompts, Anthropic, Opus 4, Sonnet 4, excels at everyday task, matches or beats leading models, achieves SOTA for coding, tool uses in writing, switching between normal and extended thinking. Figure update, we turned 3 this week. Our Humanoids also completed a 20-hour run of back-to-back shifts on BMW's X3 production line. We have been running 10-hour shifts for several weeks now. Wow. Completed a 20-hour run of back-to-back shifts on BMW's X3 production line. And Computex NVIDIA released new robotics product.
Is exactly the same as Omniverse. The training system is the same. When you're done with the model, you put it inside this Isaac Group platform. The Isaac Group platform starts with a brand new computer called Jetson Thor. This is just started in production. It is an incredible processor. Basically, a robotic processor goes to self-driving cars, and it goes into a humanoid robotic system. On top is an operating system we call NVIDIA Isaac. The NVIDIA Isaac operating system is the runtime. It does all of the neural network processing, the sensor processing, pipelines all of it, and deliver actuated results. And then on top of it, pre-trained models that we created with an amazing robotics team that are pre-training these models. And all the tools necessary in creating this, we make available, including the model. And so today we're announcing that Isaac Group N1.5 is now open source, and it's open to the world to use. It's been downloaded 6,000 times already, and the popularity and the likes and the appreciation from the community is incredible. And so that's creating the model. We also open the way we create the model. The biggest challenge in robotics is, the biggest challenge in AI overall is, what is your data strategy? And your data strategy has to be, that's where a great deal of research and a great deal of technology goes into. In the case of robotics, human demonstration, just like we demonstrate to our children or a coach demonstrates to an athlete, you demonstrate using teleoperations. You demonstrate to the robot how to perform the task, and the robot can generalize from that demonstration, because AI can generalize, and we have technology for generalization. You can generalize from that one demonstration other techniques, okay? And so what if you want to teach this robot a whole bunch of skills? How many different teleoperation people do you need? Well, it turns out to be a lot. And so what we decided to do was use AI to amplify the human demonstration systems. And so this is essentially going from real to real and using an AI to help us expand, amplify the amount of data that was collected during human demonstration to train an AI model. Let's take a look. The age of generalist robotics has arrived, with breakthroughs in mechatronics, physical AI, and embedded computing. Just in time, as labor shortages limit worldwide industrial growth. A major challenge for robot makers is the lack of large-scale, real, and synthetic data to train models. human demonstrations aren't scalable, limited by the number of hours in the day. Developers can use NVIDIA Cosmos physical AI World Foundation models to amplify data. Group Dreams is a blueprint built on Cosmos for large-scale synthetic trajectory data generation, a reel-to-reel data workflow. First, developers fine-tune Cosmos with human demonstrations recorded by teleoperation of a single task in a single environment. Then, they prompt the model with an image and new instructions to generate dreams, or future world states. Cosmos is a generative model, so developers can prompt using new action words without having to capture new teleop data. Once a large number are generated, Cosmos reasons and evaluates the quality of each dream, selecting the best for training. But these dreams are still just pixels. Robots learn from actions. The Group Dreams blueprint generates 3D action trajectories from the 2D dream videos. This is then used to train the robot model. Group Dreams lets robots learn a huge variety of new actions with minimal manual captures, so a small team of human demonstrators can now do the work of thousands. Group Dreams brings developers another step closer to solving the robot data challenge. Is that correct? So in order for robotics to happen, you need AI. In order to teach the AI, you need AI. And so this is really the great thing about the era of agents, where we need a large amount of synthetic data generation, robotics, a large amount of synthetic data generation, and skill learning called fine-tuning, which is a lot of reinforcement learning, and enormous amount of compute. And so this is a whole era where the training of these AI, development of these AI, as well as the running of the AI needs an enormous amount of compute.
That's really cool. It is crazy how much NVIDIA is launching. NVIDIA is just always in their launch room, and they're constantly, like every 2 weeks they're launching something, every 1 month they're launching something. A new open model for general purpose robot behavior, Group Dreams, blueprint for generating synthetic human motion data, amplify existing human motion data in simulation. Also announced DreamGen, a new engine that scales robot learning with digital dreams. It produces large volumes of photorealistic robot videos paired with motor action labels and allows generalization to new environments. So it's about the fact that that makes sense. You are basically using natural language to understand what the action could be, and translate that word into actual movement without any specific teleoperation. This is like hard coding. This is similar to natural language. This is similar to how LLMs were built. Earlier, chatbots were hard coded. Now they are dreaming, and that's exactly what's happening. Like earlier, using teleoperation, every action was hard coded, but now it's dreaming. Now it's thinking. Really cool. Future House made its first major scientific breakthrough identifying a new treatment for macular degeneration. Rubin AI agent generated hypotheses, designed experiments, and analyzed data to find a suitable drug for the condition. Okay. Singapore Sharpa unveiled Sharpa Wave, a lifelike robotic hand. Features 22 degrees of freedom to balance for dexterity and strength. Each fingertip has 1000 plus tactile sensing pixels and 5 milli nano mn, I don't know what that means, Newton, millinewton pressure sensitivity. Air models adapt the hand's grip and modulate force. TikTok parent ByteDance launched Bagel, unified multimodal model. It can think and reason across text and images, generate new images, edit, including in, out, paint them in different ways. Okay. Even add motion. Mm. Really cool. Really cool. Running 1,000 placements per day. This is actually very interesting what Brad Adcock is doing. So what Brad Adcock is doing is that they are not targeting, they are not looking at how cool our robot could be. They're looking at straight integration that okay, our robot must be in factories, must be doing the repetitive works. Let's get it doing work and we can figure out, and that's the most important thing. Like, can we actually replace a lot of human labor with robots? They are not looking at aesthetic. They are not looking at they did fix the Biden walk. They did fix the robot walk, but they are really focused on that hey, what is the value we are giving to our customer, to our client. It's less about the aesthetic, and that's where they can win. That's where they can also win that okay, we are already working with BMW, which is a Tesla competitor, and Tesla is right now only focused on their company, their products, so they are not gonna go and give their Optimus to BMW. So okay, let's go to BMW. We've been running 10-hour shifts for several weeks now, as far as we know. Figure and BMW are the first in the world to do this with humanoid robots. The results speak for themselves. Another great milestone. Would you mind posting some real-time videos? The Humanoid Hub will look into that. Let's look at Brad Adcock and see. Okay, by the way, this is all the stuff he's working on: figure, archer, and cover. F03 is officially walking. This is the most advanced hardware I have seen. Really cool, really cool. Like as they have a fleet of robots that is deployed at BMW, they're also constantly upgrading upgrading the robots and making sure upgrading the robots. And there's another team that is like constantly working on the aesthetics and working on the next version of it that looks slimmer, more human like, and can do better stuff. Another huge week. It's giving Ex Machina vibes. Bear Cave. What do we know? The beta info is available on F.03, but it's a production ready humanoid robot from Figure AI recently shown walking, suggesting advanced mobility. It likely builds on Figure O2's specs: 5.6 20 kg payload, fire runtime with improved AI, possibly using the Helix model for tasks like dishwashing or laundry, designed for commercial and home use. Mass production is planned for 25, with the facility producing 12,000 units yearly. Specific details on speed or weight aren't clear. And look at this. Grok now remembers your conversations. Get personalized responses. Hey, this is a great way. This is a great way for Grok to keep advertising itself, keep letting people know the latest updates. Grok voice mode has upgrades, multilingual live camera. There's a live camera now. Wow. Web research, web search. Okay, really cool. Yeah, Grok has figured out this. Elon. There's a constant effort of making everything just work. It's only interesting to imagine what it would be very interesting to see what Jack Dorsey feels about the latest updates. That actually, I'm curious. Jack Dorsey have to say about all the latest developments of Twitter slash X platform. Really curious. Several notable comments. Freedom Technology. After leaving the board of Blue Sky decentralized social media project he helped initiated, endorsed X, calling it Freedom Technology. Freedom Technology. This statement came in the context of his departure from Blue Sky, where he criticized its shift towards centralized moderation and a traditional corporate structure. His endorsement suggests he views X under Elon Musk's leadership as aligning more closely with his vision of a decentralized open platform. He criticized its shift towards centralized moderation and a traditional corporate structure. Criticism of Blue Sky's growth and X's challenges. Comment on the rapid growth of Blue Sky, suggesting it was driven by users running away from X due to dissatisfaction rather than being attracted to Blue Sky's unique features like its algorithm store. He emphasized that sustainable growth should come from offering distinct value, indicating concerns about X's user retention and the platform's current state under Musk's management. Views on Twitter's algorithm and AI. Dorsey stated that X, formerly Twitter, is no longer the closest form of global consciousness, a role he once attributed to it. He suggested that corporate AI models have surpassed X in accessing public and private thoughts, reflecting on the platform's diminished role in shaping global discourse compared to AI-driven technologies. Let's see. Reflections on Twitter's board and his exit. Criticized Twitter's board, calling it a persistent problem during his tenure. He faced pressure from activist investor Elliott Management, which sought to replace him as CEO due to his dual role at Square. Revealed he planned his exit from Twitter, culminating in his resignation in November 21, partly because he believed the company needed to move beyond founder leadership and go private, which it did under Musk in October 22. Support and criticism of Musk's takeover. Initially supported Musk's $44 billion acquisition of Twitter in 22, calling Musk a singular solution he trusted to lead the platform and rolling over his 2.4% stake into the privatized company. However, by April 23, Dorsey criticized Musk's leadership, stating Musk should have walked away from the deal and that he hadn't proven to be the ideal steward. Despite this, Dorsey later praised X's direction under Musk, particularly its push towards less censorship. Apology for rapid growth and layoffs. Apologized for growing Twitter's workforce too quickly, taking responsibility for the situation that led to significant staff reduction. He expressed gratitude for Twitter employees and acknowledged their resilience. Lockout from X account. Whoa. Reportedly logged out of his X account for about 11 hours, prompting varied reactions on the platform. He shared the lockout notice on Primal, an Austria-based platform he supports. He didn't directly comment on the incident's cause. Speculation ranged from technical glitches to deliberate actions, but Dorsey provided no further clarification. Vision for decentralized social media. Consistently advocated for decentralized social media, as seen as an involvement with Blue Sky and support for the Nostr protocol, to which he donated $5 million in May 24. His criticism of Twitter's past reliance on advertising and centralized control reflect his belief that platforms like X should adopt open source protocols to reduce corporate influence and enhance user agency. Twitter struggled with content moderation, particularly during his tenure, including the controversial decision to ban former president. He defended the move as necessary but admitted it highlighted failures in promoting healthy conversation. Interesting. Okay, let's keep going. Once we reach AGI, it will start commanding humans for any act in the physical world, a digital overlord. I'm actually really curious, because I have now done so many of these conversations on Grok around my research. Will it help me in further research? When I'm further asking it questions, diving into specific rabbit holes, will it help connect some things from previous live streams and be like, hey, this is what you talked earlier with me. That's why we must solve humanoids at scale, the ultimate deployment vector for AGI.
Right, but software sharing. Oh, sorry. The really scary future is one in which AIs can do everything except for the physical robotic tasks, in which case you'll have humans with AirPods and glasses, and there'll be some robot overlord controlling the human through cameras by just like telling it what to do and like having a bounding box around the thing you're supposed to pick up. And so you have like human meat robots.
Like the AIs are like computer programming, and like the most valuable thing that humans can do is like be amazing robots. Now that being said, I think Moravec's paradox is a little bit fake. I think the main reason that robots are worse than at like being a robot than they are at software engineering is the internet exists for software engineering. Like GitHub exists, and there is no equivalent thing. Like if you had mocap of everyone's actions as they were like going about their daily lives, like some reasonable fraction of the human population, robotics is also close to solved. On track to be solved at the same rate that software engineering is on track to be solved.
The really scary
Wow, software engineering is on track to be solved. The really scary future is the one where AI can do everything except for physical robotic tasks, some robot overlord telling humans what to do through AirPods and glasses. Once we reach AGI, it will start commanding humans for any act in the physical world, a digital overlord. That's why we must solve humanoids at scale, the ultimate deployment vector for AGI. Figure is officially 3 years old. Over the last 3 years, we have designed 3 generations of robots deployed commercially and built the best team ever assembled. Think about what it looks like 3 years from now. In 25, Figure is focused on deploying autonomous humanoids into the real world. That means a massive push on AI autonomy, integration, and data execution. We recently hit a major progress point, more to share in the morning. Massive push on AI autonomy, integration, and data execution. So yeah, because Brett's entire company is Figure, there so there is way more updates on from Figure's side than from Tesla Optimus' side. Figure's culture of getting stuff done. Also, some of us will be coming in Sunday to keep cranking. Let's get this. You can course correct a company to do this. You have to set these values at the beginning, or in extreme cases, cut everything to get there. Humanoids are the iPhone of AGI. Alright. Yeah, this is so cool. Like, because his entire company is Figure, humanoid, there is way more insights from coming from Brett's side. And if you want to learn, this is a better place.
It's a generalized human. You just ask it to walk your dog, take care of your house, fix the kids, teach the kids, cook dinner. You know, it's a generalized humanoid robot. I think everyone will want one. Because my guess is 20 billion.
20 billion humanoid robots are there.
We definitely need to be careful that they don't, build something.
Are they going to look like?
You just ask it to.
Assume one robot, 50K, 100,000 robots, 5 million revenue, 1 million robot, 50 billion, 10 million robots, 500 billion, 100 million robots, 5 trillion, 1 billion robots, 50 trillion, 20 billion robots, 1 quadrillion. Human robots will be the biggest product market in the history of ever by magnitude. The future largest companies will be robot manufacturers. This will likely produce a business 100x bigger than Apple's market cap or more. What's clear now is we are in the right decade for humanoid robotics. This will feel like the future jumped ahead by 50 years. Yep, humanoids are synthetic humans designed for deployment at billion unit scale.
Robotics is one of the, I would say, the first use case will probably be in manufacturing. There's estimates tens, if not 100 million jobs that are workers that are, the world is short of workers. And aging population, declining birth rates, and so I think the world needs a lot more workers. Robotics is one of the best ways for us to.
This is very interesting. Like, humans will become more humans and robots will become more workers.
Supplement all of that and help companies recover the lost revenues on the one hand and drive productivity, which reduces inflation for the world on the other hand. And so I think robotics is going to be
Reduces inflation for the world, just brings abundance of products.
very important to that in different areas. So you could have, they'll probably deploy to manufacturing first because they obviously need it most.
Which is a ginormous potential market, addressable
It's
market.
a $50 trillion industry that wants to grow. And I would say
A 50 trillion industry. The world is short of workers and declining birth rates, so the world needs a lot of workers. The first use case of humanoid robots will be manufacturing. Robotics is one of the best ways for us to supplement all of that. BotQ, our manufacturing at Figure, is one of my favorite places. We are manufacturing right here in the USA. If you're interested in making things in high volume, please consider coming here to manufacture robots. Priority roles: staff NPI engineer, support supplier, quality engineer, warehouse operations lead, staff manufacturing engineer. Oh, you mean like every video you ever posted? Why don't you ever post a video of this robot doing anything remotely useful that can be monetized? Does this look fragile? These humanoids are fragile. A feather could knock them over. It's really cool. Like you got like bots fighting for you. One intelligent response from a CEO of a company. If you could shut everyone, including me, by showing an unedited video of these boys doing real work, but you wouldn't do that. These videos are monetized. We have a robot denier. Wow. There's so many haters. Wow. The Figure team wrapped up a productive 2-week visit at BMW Group plant Spartanburg last month. We optimized the processes of a robots in X3 body shop and explored new use cases in the plant. Excited about a partnership 2025. Really cool. Significant progress. DeepSeek. Speaking of nerd. Valedictorian. Figure's new campus is a nerd. Just caught up with Brad Cock to see the new Figure campus. Every corner of this HQ is a high-tech, hardcore engineering from batteries to actuators to AI lab. Blown away by what's coming. Node Paradise. Morgan Stanley says humanoid robots will be a $5 trillion market by 2050. How to play it? Humanoids are basically synthetic humans. They will get quite affordable and able to work 20 to 24 hours per day. You will likely see billions on Earth in a lifetime. Wow. Robots are the best parties. Oh. They're Figure robots. Okay. Dead Mao. Last year, Figure received 33,000 job applications. This year, we have already at 53,000, a 5x year-over increase. Thank you for everyone applying. We review every resume and we make a lot of hires by the website. Okay, let's go to Humanoid Hub. That is where we'll get very specific humanoid information now. Chronicles of Optimus and other humanoid robots, technology, business, and social dynamics. Wow, I'm really cute. This is very interesting. Like the fact that Humanoid Hub or Brett Adcock is retweeting bunch of tweets from this account, and it doesn't even mention Figure over here. Wow. Highlights of the world's first humanoid robot fighting competition. AI strategist emerged as the winner after 3 elimination matches. Each match had 3 2-minute round. Points were scored by hitting target zones. 1 point for arm, 3 for legs, and any front or back strike counted as valid.
Well, that is not as fierce as the fight that we have now. So they can feel the pain and they can manage it on both sides. They want to gain 3 points. Well, look at this. This is
Really cool. Really cool. Really cool. The first of the Mecha fighting series was live streamed globally today. 14's battle using their Unity G1 humanoid robots. Brett teases figure 03. Oh, this was a good video. Wow. And that was just the head. Showcase is part of their automated volume production line, initially designed to produce 12,000 robots per year. Figure plans to scale the humanoid robot fleet to 100K within 4 years. The robots are coming. Anthropic researcher. The really scary future is the one where, how many followers? 55K. Wow. Chronicles of Optimus and other humanoid robots, technology, business, and social dynamics. Technology, business, and social dynamics. The really scary future is the one where AI can do everything except for physical robotic tasks. Some robot overlord telling humans what to do through AirPods and glasses. Carolina, head of robotics at Google DeepMind. Surprising results and the level of generalization achieved by combining Gemini reasoning module with a dexterous learning
And
architecture.
there's other examples where you put it. So there's different teleoperation examples. One is where you actually sit in front of the robot, so you have direct visibility to what the robot is doing, and you move the robot arms. Literally, you're puppeteering the robot. And there's other examples where you put a VR set and gloves, and actually you pretend to be the robot and you move this stuff. And that required a second component, which was diffusion models. And these are the same models that actually get used, for example, by Imagen in order to generate videos. And essentially, what it's doing is extracting from a lot of data, a lot of examples of doing that task, and predicting the actual action trajectory that it needs to do in order to do that task. So when you combine those two with a clever transformer architecture and a good data set, you can actually learn anything. And that was actually really, again, surprising to the researchers. That's when, for example, we discovered we could tie shoelaces, we could fold laundry, we could do origami. And so what we did in this work is that we combined the powerful reasoning model from Gemini with what we had learned around being able to do dexterous tasks.
Do you remember when you realised that these kind of properties were emerging? I mean, it must have been a bit of a shock.
I think the first time was when we saw the robots actually tying shoelaces. We were like, that's not possible. In fact, when the researchers set up this task, they actually did it to challenge themselves. They're like, I think there was a professor that said, oh, I bet if we can get robots to tie shoelaces, I will retire. And the researchers in the team were like, right on, I'm going to add that as a task. And so they actually did. And they were surprised when he was able to do it. I don't know what happened, whether the professor actually saw the video and decided to retire, but it was certainly the inspiration came from there. And we just continued to add tasks, more and more tasks. Same with the origami example. We were like, we have no idea if this is going to work, but let's try it. And it actually was surprisingly good at it. And it's actually really delicate. It has to actually fold every piece part of the paper. It has to do it in the right sequence. If anything goes wrong, it sort of loses its way. It has to restart. Same as if a human was doing it.
And how quickly does it happen? I mean, how many origami foxes does a robot need to watch a human before it can do it itself?
It varies by the complexity of the task, pretty similar to the way it is for humans, right? The more complex the task, the more you need to practice it before you can master it. So there's a lot of tasks that you can master with just about 100 examples, and tasks like the origami fox takes about 1,000 examples.
Wait, so people have to fold origami foxes while pretending to be a robot 1,000 times?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, that is incredibly amusing to me.
We're trying to reduce it as much as possible, and we are able to get quite a bit of tasks with just like a dozen of examples.
And it's something you don't need any examples for at all.
In a lot of examples that we were testing, like when you're playing with a robot and asking it to do a lot of pick-and-place tasks with completely new scenarios, you have to teach it again. And this is expanding and getting more and more complex. So, for example, cases with the tiles where you're moving the tiles around, those you just can reason about positioning of the tiles and sight work with them.
Okay, what about pack lunch?
That one is more complex because again, in that one you're actually doing a long sequence of tasks, about 5 minutes of tasks, and you're actually picking up very deformable things like the Ziploc bag and doing very delicate stuff. So the more delicate the task, the more likely it is you need to see examples of that task.
So if the robots aren't the examples, does that end up impacting the generality of it?
Only to a degree. So one thing that we make sure that we do is that we collect data in thousands of examples without doing a very large emphasis on any new task. If you do want to do the origami task, we simply specialize it for the origami task, and then that's affect the generalization of the models today. We're hoping to get to a state where you basically can teach it any new task, to master any new task, and the generality remains intact. But today is a trade-off.
Very interesting. Redefining robotics. That was a really good one. Sneak peek of foundation robotics, consumer goods manufacturing use case. This is cool. Egodex is Apple's large-scale egocentric dataset for dexterous manipulation and includes frame-by-frame 3D pose annotation span 829 hours. The open dataset was recorded using Apple Vision Pro and annotated real-time with high-fidelity 3D pose estimates. Unity hosted 1-hour live stream demonstrating the G1 robot performing fighting moves in response to voice commands. Really cool, really cool. Beyond Imagination, a humanoid robotics startup co-founded in 2018 by Ray Kurzweil, is in talks to raise 100 million Series B funding led by Gauntlet Ventures, targeting a 500 million valuation. The company unveiled its Beyond Meat humanoid prototype in 21. Co-founder Harry Kluwer said robots from Boston Dynamics Tesla figure in Sanctuary will be hiding in a lab for many years.
They will be hiding in the lab for many years. Last year we did a roadshow to expose the robot and have it work around and interact with humans around the entire planet. So we started CES, having it interact, showing people how we used to train it, having it challenged, and then we went all around the U.S., ended up in New York where we did a week at the World Bank's Explorers Club and the Gala, and eventually by October we landed in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where we were the #1 featured tech at the Future Investment Initiative. Articulate fingers, hands, wrists are very human-like, but also besides being able to pick up large weights, it's fine enough to do this pinch of salt. We've been training it and testing it for a variety of things. This was a test for cellularity by Bob Ferrari, publicly traded stem cell company. You can use any given tool, and no one handed the robot these tools, just went to pick them up. Strong enough to push that drill through as many times as you want. It's working around a hot stove. This was very early in 2021, November, we had tested at true pace. This is a big...
Beyond Imagination. Well, that's great, except it's 2025. So what advancements has the company made in the past 4 years? You were showing a video that's 4 years old. That's the most recent public update from them as far as I know. Investors betting big makes me think they might have made more progress since then. How the Gemini-powered robot without prior training performed a slam dunk with an unfamiliar toy basketball hoop, demonstrating surprising generalization from Gemini's conceptual understanding of the world. Figure just turned 3. Wow. Yeah, this is really cool. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 2 looked pretty crazy. Like way Terminator-like. But very shiny metals. Use of very shiny metals. It went from inception to taking first steps in 18 months and then to completing a 20-hour run on a car production line in another 18. Can maintain execution pace. Mecha Combat Arena will be broadcast live on Chinese national TV channels. China time. I think Unity was the one which was like super cheap. MMA style Mech Combat Arena. As IO merges with OpenAI, Johnny will assume the deep design and creative responsibilities across OpenAI and IO. I really hope to see Johnny has design sensibilities brought to a humanoid robot.
Express the essence of something and its purpose and its role in our life. I actually think that something that I feel conscious of is that I think generally in value, generally in our industry, I think joy and humor has been missing. And that's something that that sort of weighed on me. And
yeah, you clearly understand joy and humor looking at his socks.
And I, the products that we're all developing, they're complicated, aren't they? And sometimes joy gets confused with being trivial. But I think I always go back. I don't know about you, but I always go back to being very clear that my state of mind and how I am in my practice ultimately is going to be embodied in the work. And so if I'm consumed with anxiety, that's how the work will end up. And so I think to be hopeful and optimistic and joyful in our practice and be that way in how we relate to each other and our colleagues, I actually think that's how the products will end up.
Is OpenAI going to build humanoid robots? I think so. They began building humanoid robotics team earlier this year, and Sam Altman seems incredibly interested.
What do you think?
AI is for sure going to change a lot of jobs, totally take some jobs away, create much new ones. This is like this is what happens in technology. In fact, I think if you look at the history of the world, like that's just been happening for a long time. The thing I think the world is not ready for, like people have maybe abstracted about, like, okay, it's gonna be better programming than me, it's gonna be, better at customer support and whatever. I don't think the world's really had the humanoid robots at the moment yet. Like the first day you're like walking down the street and there's like 7 robots that walk past you doing things or whatever. It's like feeling very sci-fi. And I don't think it's very far away from like this, or like, oh man, this is gonna do a lot of things that we used to do. So yeah, it's coming. And we always try to just be super honest about what we think the
I'm more excited about humanoid robots than robots of other
Designing
shapes.
infrastructure of experiences in a world where you're agentic in your business tool. I'm actually very interested in designing a world that is equally usable by humans, by AIs. So I like the interpretability of that. I like the smoothness of the handoffs. I like the ability to provide feedback or whatever. So, DoorDash could just expose some API to my future AI assistant, and they could go put the order in whatever. Or I could say, like, I could pull my phone out and I could say, okay, AI assistant, like, you put in this order on DoorDash, please. And I could, like, watch the Apple bin and see the thing looking around, and I could say, hey, no, not this, or, like, there's something about designing a world that is usable equally well by humans and AIs that I think is an interesting concept. It's very much like more excited about humanoid robots than sort of robots of like regular shapes. The world is very much designed for humans, and we should absolutely keep it that way.
We should absolutely keep it that way. 22 degrees of freedom. Gen 3 Optimus and N4 arm. That's some neat packaging work. The U.S. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy at Tesla Giga Texas today discussing the future of autonomous transportation.
We're thrilled about the future of autonomous vehicles. Tesla, one of the great companies that are involved in this technology, I think we're America wants to lead in this space compared to the rest of the world. So want to come down and check out the technology, see what Elon's doing, Tesla's doing. So we'll just call it through. Yes,
That's what extension. I think the car has a robot and the this is a robot phone, same basic technology. So that requires batteries, AI, vision.
America's going to change. Our technology's going to change. And a lot of people think of us at DOT as we wear hard hats and construction hats. We're at the forefront of making sure American innovation needs a role. And getting the rules right as we do that is critically important. And safety is key, but putting things at the right speed, not too fast and not too slow. Let innovators innovate. And again, that's Elon's doing, and that's our king out.
I don't know, it's going to be wonderful for the United States to have a national set of rules for driving as opposed to a set of rules on a state-by-state basis. So hopefully that's going to make a future.
So you're telling me what everyone in autonomous vehicles are telling you? You can't have 50 different rules or 50 different states. You need one standard. So we've said, hey, everyone who's playing here, you got to send us your data so we can look at it and develop a rule that everyone can abide by. So you don't go from state to state with different parameters which you can have to do business.
It's possible. Like if you drive from like Maine to New York, it goes in 10 different rule sets because you behave differently as you cross state borders.
It doesn't work. So that's what we have to do is set those rules, set those standards, and again, we have a lot of engagement with the industry. We're grateful for that. And again, we want to keep Americans safe, but as we said in the conversation earlier, we lose 40,000 people a year on American roads. Autonomous vehicles could be the pathway where we make a real impact on the loss of life, the distractions you don't have on your phone, or drunk driving. There's a number of factors on distractions for drivers that we'll be able to resolve with the evolution of autonomous vehicles.
Yeah, we can say autonomous driving will reduce taxes by a factor 10 and ultimately save millions of lives.
Awesome. All right.
All right, thank you.
Wow. Controlling the fingers to tendons. They figured out like how it's mostly like, I think somebody said that most of these movements are made by all these tendons that are right over here, and they had to figure this out. They had to figure this out that okay, it's not just building a building machine over here, but if you have to control, you gotta get these wires over here in your arm, in the robot's arm, that will start controlling them. This is Dream Gen. This is this. Okay.
About developing Optimus, about applying, integrating this kind of real world AI into the space of robotic manipulation, just humanoid robotics. What are some interesting, tiny or big things you've understood?
I was surprised at the fact that we had to develop every part of the robot ourselves. That there were no off-the-shelf motors, electronics, sensors. Like we had to develop everything. We couldn't actually find a source of the electric motors for any of our money.
It's not just efficient and expensive. It's like anything. There's not a.
No.
Everything has to be designed from scratch.
We tried hard to find anything that was, because you didn't know how many electric motors we had. There's like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of electric motor designs. None of them were suitable for a human robot. Just were none. So we had to develop our design specifically for a human robot.
How hard was it to design something that's manufactured to be relatively expensive? If you compare cost to the next example, a very expensive robot.
It is designed to be manufactured in the same way that we make a car. Anything else they would make up is less industrial. It should be, because if you look at the mass of the robot, it's much smaller, and the car has many actuators in it. The car's more actuators than the robot.
But there's the actuators are kind of interesting. Human robot fingers. So Optimus has really nice hands and fingers.
Yeah.
entire machinery of the learning process, end to end. It's just you just have a different set of controls.
Optimus will figure out how do you think that what you made. Optimus will figure out how do you think that what you made.
Really cool. Very cool. All right, that's the stream. Thank you.